Hey, hello. All right, there you go. I'm sorry. I started this thing without the microphone. Luckily, it's only been 2 minutes. Um, where do I even start? So I mentioned Epstein, when the mic was off. So Epstein's associate dies in a Paris prison, and apparently there are no tapes of the incident because in Paris, inmates have a right to privacy. But here in America, where once you're an inmate, you don't have a right to privacy. They read your mail and everything. Um, there were no cameras either. So six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Look, man, the bad guy's the bad guy. You should take the bad guy out of play, especially people who assault children, right? How oh good lord. So I don't know. I don't know. I think and mind you, you know, people talk about religious whack jobs, right? And saying stuff like they're raping kids in a pizza parlor. But at the end of the day, there seems to be a lot of this weirdness going on here. Meanwhile, in other news, the Russians are essentially in position to invade the Ukraine. And then they're going to find the president and all those people, and they're going to take them to Moscow and throw them in a jail so deep, no one's going to ever see them again. Just like when America grabbed Noriega, who's still alive. He's in jail. He's going to do 30 years here, uh, and then he's going to do 30 years in France, I think. So that's like 6 years. And when they grabbed him, he was 50. So how old is General Noriega? I mean, you have to call them by their honorifics. Just can't be calling them Ted or anything like that. Uh, sorry, I had to freeze that. Let's put this here. Let's take this down. Let's put this here. And then let's shrinky dink this. All right. So, how old how old is Manuel Noriega? I mean, a rapper even took his name and made himself a rich and famous rap star. 83. So yeah, he's in a highly secure American prison. He gets no visitors, he sees nobody. Oh, it says he died 2017. Well, 1967 to 1990. 40 years in prison, crimes against humanity and money laundering. Who charged him with crimes against humanity? America? Did the Hague charge him with crimes against humanity? No, conviction crimes against. All right, hold on. Who convicted Noriega? I'm just curious. National Guard career, rise to power, death of Torrio, de facto rule of Panama, relationship with the U.S., murder of Spadafora, U.S. invasion of. In the Genesis, in March 88, the U.S. government entered into negotiation with Noriega seeking his resignation. So they were like, look, get out of power. He was like, I don't want to get, why are we even negotiate? This is my country. I'm not leaving. You should get out of power. We're negotiating you to go someplace and do something else. We gave the same deal to Saddam Hussein, and he didn't take it either. Um, yeah, the whole thing is fucking ridiculous. What are you going to do? How are you going to stand against the might of the American government? Panama was represented as these negotiations by Romulo Escobar Betancourt. He was known for negotiating Panama Canal treaties in 1977. Negotiations collapsed after several months of lengthy and inconclusive talks. According to Dingo, Noriega had no intention of ever resigning. On December 15, 1999, a PRD dominated legislature spoke of a state of war between the United States and Panama. It also declared Noriega chief executive officer and the government chief executive officer of the government. Of course, he was a dictator. What else do we going to say? Formalizing a state of affairs that could exist for 6 years. The U.S. government stated that Noriega forces were harassing U.S. troops and civilians. Oh, uh-huh. Three incidents in particular occurred very near the time of the invasion and were mentioned by Bush as reasons for the invasion. The only thing we ever do is fucking fuck with little countries. Prosecuted in prison. Following his capture, Noriega was transferred to a cell in Miami. Yeah, we arrested him and charged him with crimes against humanity. What did everyone else say? Prosecution in France. Noriega was tried in absentia in Panama for crimes against committee during his rule. See? And two others were convicted of murder of Spadaro by a court of the third jurisdiction and sentenced 20 years in prison. Prosecution in France. The French government had requested Noriega's extradition after he was convicted of money laundering in 1999. So this is that just in case he survives his 40-year sentence or something happens and we let him out, we want you to arrest him immediately, right? And put him through the same thing. It takes you off the table. I'm telling you, I think we're headed for bad times in the good old US of A. Uh, Noriega was extradited to France, where he was held was a unfit for manifest agent rank. The French government refused to grant him prisoner of war status, which he had in the United States. On July 7th, 2010, Noriega was convicted by 11 chamber and sentenced 7 years in jail. The prosecuting case has sought a 10-year term. In addition, the court ordered siege of, $3.6 million that he had in French bank accounts. So yeah, they threw him in jail. And they took all the money because fucking classic. um, 60 years. Yep, sounds about right. All right. All right. So, hate crimes trial goes to the jury. Do we want to read about the hate crimes trial? I don't think I do. Twin Storms. What does Reuters have to say about this? Hate crime trial goes to the jury after prosecutors say racial hatred drove Ahmaud Arbery's murderers. I would agree with that. AMA A H UAD. How you spell Ahmaud? AHD Ahmaud. The dude, the fucking idea that you shot this guy, shotgunned him 3 times, and the cop showed up and didn't even help. So it really is just more people need to be losing their jobs over this shit, and it is just the way it is, right? It had the AH. I knew there was an H in there. More AH. Like not Ahmad. It's Ahmad. All right. Okay. I got you. It really is quite a thing. It really is quite a thing to be shotgunned in the street and not arrested immediately. Right. The cop who killed Dante Wright. She got 2 years. So I don't even know what to tell you. NPR, NBC. Who is Reuters? Reuters. Reuters. Hate crime trial goes to the jury after prosecutors say racial hatred drove Ahmaud Arbery's murderers. All right, we're gonna put this up. Brunswick, Georgia, February 21st. Reuters. 3 white men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery acted out of racial anger when they chased a young black man that they saw him jogging through their Georgia community. A federal prosecutor told jurors at the defendant's hate crime trial on Monday. Defense attorneys argue that their client, despite a lengthy record of racist discourse, pursued Arbery because they were suspicious of his conduct, not because of his race. See, this is the shit. The ABA allows racist bullshit and propagates it. The American Bar Association. I really do believe that. I mean, all these judges are all lawyers. They're all part of the same. So you follow where it goes. You do. What do you have to do to get this barred? I'm just curious. Other than physical violence, there's no code of ethics. You can lie on the stand and put an innocent person in jail as a prosecutor, or lie and get a rapist off as a. Is this all allowed? It should not be allowed. This country is. It needs to evolve. It really does. Um, Defense lawyers argue that their client, despite a lengthy record of racist discourse, pursued Arbery because they were suspicious of his conduct, not because of his race. Two things wrong with this sentence. One, who are you to stop anybody in the middle of anywhere to do anything? Yeah, and all these people talk about citizens arrest. You should know the statute. And people don't know the statute. They just blurt shit out. Right? Citizens arrest. I know my rights. No, you don't. You really don't. Judge Lisa Woods sent the predominantly white jury out to deliberate Monday afternoon after hours of closing. The defendants, Travis McMichael, 36, his father, Gregory McMichael, 66, and neighbor William Roddy Bryan, 52, have all been convicted of murder in the state, have all been convicted of murder in state court and sentenced to life in prison in an earlier trial that largely skirted racism and focused on proving a homicide. Yeah, all these. There's also the George Floyd trial going on for the other 3 cops, right? And they're going to get a hate crimes trial, federal hate crimes trial. Mind you, there hasn't been a federal hate crimes trial in forever, and there's been a ton of really squiffy shootings, really squiffy shootings. And the cop who shot Laquan McDonald, who's supposed to do like 16 years, ended up doing 3, might be 4. It's just the fix is so. Man. I don't know. When there will be the second anniversary of the day Arbery, 25, was out for a Sunday afternoon jog when the McMichaels spotted him running by their home, grabbed their guns, jumped in their pickup truck to follow him. Bryant joined the chase in his own truck before Arbery was cornered and confronted face to face by the younger McMichael, who fired 3 shotgun blasts at Arbery at close range, killing him. The encounter captured in cell phone video recorded by Bryant stirred public outrage when it surfaced on social media some 2 months later. At the time the video surfaced, no arrests have been made. Civil rights activists said the lag time in the arrest exemplified the pattern of U.S. law enforcement allowing white perpetrators to go unpunished in unjustified killings of black people. Here's the thing: if he had never taken this camera out to shoot this, it'd be their word against his. Just shot 25 times. Not 25 times, 3 times with a shotgun in the street on a Sunday, going out for a jog. Lived longer had he smoked, stayed home. Oh my God, it's so sad and pointless. Arbery's name became intertwined with a host of other invoked in protests that swept the country after George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis by white policemen kneeling on the unarmed black man's neck in May 2020. They thought the worst of him. Christopher Perez, Perras, Christopher Perez, a special litigator for the U.S. Justice Department Civil Rights Division, said in his summation on Monday that Arbery was singled out because of the color of his skin. They were motivated by racial assumptions, racial resentment, and racial anger, Perez said, referring to the defendant. They saw a black man in their neighborhood and they thought the worst of him. That sounds about right. Perez cited trial testimony showing the defendant, seated stone-faced through Monday's proceeding, had a long history of making overtly, sometimes violently racist comments about black people. Violent racist comments about black people in text messages, social media, and conversations with others. Look, man, I think these people are just obsessed with us. They're just obsessed with us. We all mind our business and they just can't stop thinking about us. That's what it is. Arbery's parents, Marcus Arbery Sr. His name is Ahmad Marquez Arbery. And his father's name is Marcus. Maybe they just call him Marcus. All right. And Wanda Cooper Jones were in court Monday. Cooper Jones, Sodman Ferris colleague, Assistant U.S. Attorney Tara Lyons, listed for the jury some of the disparaging and racist insults the defendants had directed at Arbery. Mind you, this is all on tape as they chase them down, right? Then I go, hey, young man, stop, pull over. We want to talk to you about a burglary, you young man. Come here, you. You know, they're going, hey, fuck, say, you pull over, nigga. What you doing? Hey, you know, you ain't getting away from us, motherfucker. I'm going to blow your fucking head off, nigga. You better stop. Excuse my language. But that's the kind of stuff that's going on in that tape. That's the kind of like angry, classically run for your life kind of dark thing that was going on in this Arbery case, right? I mean, he was literally running for his life and he lost because he was shotgunned 3 times in the street in broad daylight on a Sunday while everybody's home. And it took them 6 months to arrest him. 3 months? I don't know, man. Assistant U.S. Attorney Tara Lyons listed for the jurors some of the disparaging and racist insults the defendants had directed at Arbery. This case is about how these 3 defendants saw Ahmad Lyons, Lyons. Is that Lyons? Leon. Oh man, I'm so bad. Leon said, defendant attorney counted that their client believed they recognized Arbery from a previous video taken by a neighbor showing a person lurking on 4 occasions around a vacant house under construction amid a series of property thefts in the community. There was no evidence that Arbery ever stole anything, right? Here's the thing about this. Let's run through this sentence. Defense attorneys countered that their clients believed that they recognized Arbery from previous videos taken by neighbors showing a person lurking on 4 occasions around a vacant house under construction, right? Amid a series of property thefts. So they're saying we had like robberies, people broken our cars and stole stuff. The police department said they had no calls of any burglaries or robberies. This is a bucolic seaside town. Police said there's no the cops call it a condition. There's no condition over there. And the idea that they believe they recognized him from previous videos. Where are these videos that you said the neighbor? Now you can't even show up with the videos that you claim to recognize him from. So you don't have the videos, and you don't have a police record of calling up saying my house got broken into, my neighbor's house got broken in 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago, the guy 2 blocks away, his house got broken into. You don't have any of that. You don't have any of that. All you have is you hopping in your truck with your father and your friend and a shotgun and a revolver and no authority and murdering someone in broad daylight on a Sunday like you had every right to. It really isn't a wild, like, well, I mean, people get liquored up and do shit, right? I mean, and some people are just, when I say liquored up, I don't necessarily mean alcohol, but you get, that's literally getting liquored up to like get your courage. But some people kind of like talk themselves into, like, hypnotize themselves about, and that's what I think this was. Right? Just over the years, just talking about the blacks. I hate the blacks, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks. And then all of a sudden, you're just in this spin of, and then all of a sudden, since you're already so conditioned to it, you're easily triggered when you perceive something that isn't true or that is just none of your business. But those people are in police forces and the American military. They're judges and lawyers, and no one cares to remove them. Disparaging racist insult the defendants had directed at Arbery while they were chasing him down. The case about how these three defendants saw Ahmad Leon said. Defense attorney counted that the client believed they recognized Arbery from previous videotapes, lurking on 4 occasions around the vacant lot. We addressed that. There's no evidence that Arbery ever stole anything. Here's the thing about this. If he had stolen something, it'd have been on his dead body, wouldn't it? Or did he die and take it with him? There's no evidence that Arbery ever stole anything. He had no burglary tools. He didn't have gloves. He didn't have a sack to put the loot in. He was out running. Amy Lee Copeland, representing Travis McMichael, said prosecutors presented no evidence that her client ever spoke to anyone about Mr. Arbery in racial terms or used racial slurs on the day of the killing. And she added that the government never connected Mr. McMichael to any white supremacist or hate group. What does that have to do with it? You don't have to be a card-carrying member of a hate group. But didn't she see the video? I mean, they have text messages and shit, and you're the lawyer saying the government didn't produce shit that the government produced. AJ Balbo, the attorney, Grady McMichaels, argued that the defendants were motivated by a desire to protect their neighborhood. So you still kill somebody, right? Pete Theodosian, Brown's attorney, argued the evidence of racism was merely circumstantial. Okay. Yes, the N word 6 times is 6 times too many, but it's not evidence of a hate crime, he told jurors. So you got one lawyer saying the government didn't produce any evidence, right? Of racial animus, right? It's just speculation. Amy Lee Copeland, representing Travis McMichael, said prosecutors presented no evidence that her client ever spoke to anyone about Mr. Arbery in racial terms or his racial stories on the day of the killing. Hop down to a paragraph. Pia Theosian, Brian's attorney, right, argued the evidence of racism was merely circumstantial. Yes, the N word 6 times is 6 times too many, but it's not evidence of a hate crime. So one is, yes, acknowledging that it was spoken, and it was spoken 6 times, and the other one is saying, what evidence are you talking about? As they're both on trial together. All three men are charged with depriving Arbery of his civil rights by attacking him because of his race, as well as attempted kidnapping. Yeah, they wanted to take him from where he was to someplace else. That's kidnapping. The McMichaels are additionally charged with federal firearm offenses. Yeah, shotgun and a revolver. The hate crime felony, the most serious of the charge, carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. After the McMichaels agreed last month to plead guilty to federal hate crime offense, the son acknowledged in court that he singled out Arbery because of his race and color. After the McMichaels agreed last month to plead guilty to federal hate crimes offenses, the son acknowledged in court he singled the arbiter because of his race and color. So if you cop to this, why are you on trial? You're in federal trial on a hate crime. How did you say what? Hold on. What's the first paragraph? Hate crime trial goes to the jury after prosecutors say racial hatred drove Ahmaud Arbery. So why does this need to go to the jury if he copped? After the McMichaels agreed last month to plead guilty to federal hate crime offenses, the son acknowledged in court that he singled out Arbery because of his race and color. If you pleaded to this, why is this going to the jury? There's something really confusing that I'm not getting. Judge Wood rejected the plea because it bound her to a 30-year sentence that prosecutors had agreed would be served in a federal lockup before the men were returned to Georgia prison system, widely perceived as a tougher environment for inmates compared with federal penitentiaries. So they were both going to do 30 years in a federal prison where the father was going to die. I mean, I'm not saying it's luxury. Don't get me wrong here. But the father who's like 70, 63, right, would likely die, not live out his 30-year sentence. Versus having to be a gladiator in a penitentiary, which is where they don't want to go. One of the 30-year cop who put you there, 63, hate crime, right? And your 30-year-old son full of racist text messages. And your 50-year-old neighbor. I'm going to get life anyway. How about I plead to 30 years and serve it in a comfy environment? And people are like, no, you can't wait to send somebody to the these dark fates, and now you end up about to receive the same treatment. I think the American judicial system is a hot mess. I think prisons need to be fixed, right? If I ever end up in one, I hope not. If I ever end up in one, that's still my philosophy. I'm pretty sure I'll be in there going, this place is a shit show that needs to be fixed. Versus what they were doing. Something tells me this is going to even out for them. Not good. Judge Wood rejected the plea bargain because it bound her to a 30-year sentence that prosecutors had agreed will be served in a federal lockup. By then, the men will return to Georgia prison system where they were, widely perceived as a tougher environment for inmates compared with federal penitentiary. Yeah. So after everybody got mad about it, the feds who were going to take it withdrew it. So now you have to stand there and say how you're not that thing that you were. All right. It's Monday. It's a nice quiet Monday. Not a lot going on. Um I think the latest news is, well, actually there's the newest thing is that there's a new variant. Yet another variant. Uh I don't even know what to tell you. Oklahoma candidate is deeply sorry for reported meltdown around tween girls at a slumber party. How old is a tween? What is a tween? Is that like a teen and 20? What is a tween? I mean, people are allowed to be angry, right? What is a tween?
Tween.
Tweenager. What is a tweenager? teenager, plural teenager, a preteen or a young teenager. All right, so it's before you're 13, right? So I'm saying a preteen is a year and a half to 2 years, right? And then 13, 14, a young teen would be about, right? 15, 16 is young teen. 16, 17, 18 is like, I guess teens come in two groups. 13 to about 15, I would say. And then about 15, 16 and a half to about 19 to polish it off. And then you're just a 20-year-old. Right. But there are two brackets. So they're saying she lost her shit around kids who were girls, right? Who are likely about 11, 12, and 13, right? 11, 12, 13, 14, let's say, tween girls. Yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. What is wrong with people around tween girls at a slumber party, right? Because ATO girls don't have slumber parties. This is for 12-year-olds. Oh my gosh. All right. Hmm. Guess that's it. Not a lot going on. Um, it's Black History Month, right? So as we get closer to the close, let me just say a couple of things. It's Black History Month. I'm hearing a lot as I drive around. Uh, People talk about Black history, quote unquote, and what they're doing is naming you notable Black people, usually famous people who sang and danced and was the first to do this or was the first athlete. That's what they're saying, right? There's a whole lot of revolutionary Black people that they're completely fucking ignoring, and they're calling it Black history. And when they're not doing that, they're telling you about um an injustice. The cop shot this person and it was racially motivated, and like we've got our pulse on it, so you can trust us to report these things, kind of thing. But it's not Black history, right? It's pandering to Black pain and Black struggle, right? And Black hopes. But it's not Black, it's not a Black network, it's not Black history. I don't know what the hell is going on with this. It's all very cynical, and not only is it cynical, it's also very calculated to be, oh look, I have your best, and look, there's Black anchors here too, right? But it's not owned by Black people, and it's not talking about anything that uh helps Black people get to a place, right? It's reminding you of singers and dancers and athletes from a bygone era. Jesse, not Jesse Jackson, um, Jesse Owens, snubbed Hitler and won, and Hitler snubbed him, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I know that's history, but yeah, but Black history is a history of struggle and all this other shit that you're not talking about. Um, it's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. So all this Black history I've been hearing about, this guy, Black history. What's the name of the network? There's a new network that's supposed to be like uh news for Black people. And it's here in Virginia. But it's not news. I'm sure it's for Black people, but it's like I feel like if you could dumb down shit, excuse my language, but if you could stupid up the thing for people, they've done that, right? And a lot of the people that they like the Lord of Black celebrities are problematic, and they just skate right past it. I'm like, oh, they want to quote this person and that rock star and this lyric. I'm like, that whole album is about fucking gunplay and bullshit. Just because you like one song on it, right? Is it bed? Did one of these being Airbnbs has a Jay Z song, right? Let's go get him, right? All I need in this life for sin is me and my girlfriend. The whole album is about drugs and sipping women Mickeys, and I'm just like, all right, man, whatever. Um, I guess that's it. Why don't we just pull the plug on this one? Uh, oh boy. Um, let's close this. I've got. Ooh, sorry about that. Uh, that was my bad. Normally I shrink that down. What you gonna do when the Russian troops run up in there? What you gonna do? Parents against mass mandates use sovereign citizen tactics to flood school. So everybody's waging a war against the government in this country. You're never going to get shit done. You absolutely are not ever going to get anything done. You have to make people do things. I'm sorry, right? We all got shots for polio and whatever. Stop presenting. I thought I did. Thank you. We all got shots for polio and all this, and I'm no doctor, but at this point they won't let you march, right? They sick the cops on you, they break up your protests. So why would you protest? Right? Well, so maybe this whole we're just gonna flood the place with paperwork is a just solution to what's been going on here. Oh my god. I mean somebody's gotta make this place work. It to me, it seems to be a clown car with the super rich at the top and excuse me, with the super rich at the top and the rest of us at the bottom flailing. Not the rest of us, but like, their brackets. But and like I said before, I don't think anybody cares if you fucking insider trade on Wall Street as long as you do right by the people. And they're not even doing that. They're just fucking insider trading and telling you shut up, don't be greedy, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. As they stole your bootstraps and your boots. I don't even know, man. All right. Let's close this. All right. Remember, here with me, you're always guaranteed at least 20 minutes. And this is the second time we've had in a row where there wasn't a lot going on. So I guess we'll crash this one out. All these Hollywood people get married, like it's just a thing to do, and then it's over. Then I'm stopping. Why don't no one ever goes. Look, I think people look at divorce as super convenient. Like people look at DoorDash, right? Super convenient. Shameful. It should be looked at. It should be thought about long and hard before you do it. And when you get divorced, it should be thought about long and hard before you do that too. I don't think anybody cares. But anyway, that's just me. I will see you in the next one. The next one is likely tomorrow, about the same time. Come on through. Uh, you know what? Like and subscribe. I'll be here, same place tomorrow that you found me. Peace.